Hello, let's do lesson 7, shall we? Courage to act. How is it going to move through your experience, what it takes to act? What are the things and what are the steps of courage that you had to go through? What can you talk about that gives other people courage? So that when you experienced that thing, you had the courage to say something. You had the courage to apply something, right? When you know something is in congruency with what you have to say, you have more courage. When you know something works, you have the applicational strength to understand that, yes, this might not be the season. Yes, they did something that was out of alignment. Yes, that was something that was incorrect. You have the courage to act in congruency with what you know to be true and with what you require as true in order to be able to develop that next level of thinking, that next level of application. So that not only do you have those things in place, you have safeguards to your experience. You have understandings of those gates that people are going to have to cross through as threshold breakers. So what's going to be the thing that'll get them to go live in the Facebook group? You have to compel them with something or give them a resource to act and a reason to do it. You know? What's it going to take to go from ignorance into understanding? What's it going to take to go from corruption into unity? What's it going to take to go from fear into love or anxiety into calm? What were the states that you faced? So like for me, it was a year ago in the challenge community, I had to learn how to go live in front of a camera. I was not comfortable with that. How did I get that repetition? It was through the Artist Collective. It was through going live in Zoom every night for hours on end, getting used to being in front of a camera, talking to myself, talking to an empty room, right? Like this is an unnatural thing that people do. We're not experienced in dealing with or handling those kinds of relationships in a way that allows for that next level to apply, right? We don't do these things normally. Normal people don't sit and talk to their cameras. Normal people don't. They go out and they talk to their friends. They go out and interact in person. Well, with the way retail has changed the game, with the way the disease and the plagues are outside, shaking somebody's hand could be a death sentence to your grandma. You don't know, right? That's too much fear. That's too much bullshit. So you have to have some way to overcome that. So how do you still get those interactions? Well, you can get those interactions digitally. You can get those interactions in a Zoom community group that you set up that helps you work through the thing that you need to do. So what is it that you need to do in order to socialize with other people that are like yourself? You need to create a community for it. You need to give a place of courage, a place where you can act. So what does that look like when it comes to what you do and serve? How do you get people to engage with going live in your Facebook community, going live in your group communities, so that way what you do and how you get there is not a seedy way of doing it. You actually have a path. You actually have a journey. And it's talking about that journey, talking about the ability to act on things that are otherwise uncomfortable to act on, that you have done or you're demonstrating or that you're able to do in a different kind of way. So that as you learn to teach your thing, you can teach your thing at a higher level, at a better capacity, so that you serve who you need to serve, however you can serve them, with whatever you're doing. So it makes it evergreen, so that it becomes a 24-hour principle instead of you having to go in an infomercial, you having to get on TV, or you having to go on other people's stages. You have a cycle of an ecosystem that you're creating that becomes resourceful, that other people can use as a resource. And then you can join into those communities and those collectives in that capacity and those actions that you can do and what will that you have. So remember, I said earlier, what do you intend, what do you will, and what do you direct, right? This is the application of that mathematical principle demonstrated out over each of the lessons, right? So how does it manifest? How does it show up? You have the actions. You have what will it creates. What bonds does it create in the community and that person? What application of those bonds? What is the manifestation of that? You have a lesson. You have a Facebook community group for people that have gone through these lessons or going through them, or I've been teaching, or I've been sharing resources with, or I've been creating a mentorship journey for. Like all of these different things to learn the different skills that create a monetization structure that's beyond just I'm monetizing one widget, I'm monetizing one where. I'm giving you access to a community that is getting so much deeper engagement than just the product that could end up in a landfill, or just a product that needs to be replaced every 6 months. No, there is an ongoing journey that gets created through this application of courage. So what will you go over? What will you go through? What will you go around? What will you go under? No matter what it is, you have to figure out a way through it so that you get on the other side of your shit. So that you can lead people through the other side of their shit. So that they can in turn find the strength to lead people through their time in crisis. So that there is no more crisis. So if we can create that unity, we can create that path and that follow through where it's not equality, you've got equity. You've got the people that will be able to serve the right way with the right information in the right capacity that they can serve it that matches your congruency so that your information is not abused, that these methods and methodologies are done for people that have a congruent message, that have taken the time to go and learn and humble themselves between methodologies and frameworks and all the different mechanical processes that exist in the marketplace. What is it that you know works? What is being applied that works? These are structures that work. How do I know that they work? Is because Dean and Tony are using them. Pedro is using them. Pete is using them. Other masters of craft and industry for their thing are being able to convert at a higher rate because they're doing it. You can do that too if you go through this course. If you take the time to understand that what you do can give courage to others. And if you can give courage to others, you can give action, motivation to others. And if you get that action out of others, you have made a transformation in their life. And that lesson that you have taught creates transformation. It creates a legacy. And that action creates impact. So that's how you teach this kind of lesson. So I hope that it inspires your good and right action towards uplifting others, towards creating a network of others, so that way what you develop and how you develop it really moves the needle forward and you get those next level applications of what it is you're teaching. Because by teaching courage and by teaching demonstration of courage, you now have a deeper level of that communication. You now have a different trust built up with those people so that you can serve at a higher level, so that you can serve at a deeper level, so that what training methods that you offer and those individualizations that you give become more robust. So it's not just about teaching people to write a course. It's not teaching people to write a framework or a pattern or a methodology. It's the application of the modus of operandi behind it, the method of operations, and the emotional passion behind it. So that way, with that delivery, that insight into change becomes tangible and manifest. So that you have the action, and you have the will, and you have the bonds, and you have the manifestation. So that mathematical principle that I demonstrated in the second lesson, right, becomes fact in this lesson. So what I did before sets up the future. So you don't have to trust me, you can trust the journey. And it's the application of that journey that gives you courage to act upon your next levels of that journey so that they become automatic, so that you don't even have to think about it. So that this stuff becomes so ingrained into who you are and how you think that you can apply your lessons and your frameworks to any and every conversation that you have. And it doesn't have to be long. It can be quick. You only have 30, 40 seconds of interaction with somebody. In the sales floor, my usual customer lasted 45 minutes because I would walk them through. Do you need the lingerie? Do you want it to be a one-piece? Do you want it to be a two-piece? Do you want to have a BDSM experience? Do you want to have a vibrator? Do you want to have a lubricant? Do you want to have new technologies, right? What are the new technologies? What are the things that are going to be add-ons that'll help? What else do you need to learn? What other resources do you need to have? And what courage do you need to have to undertake those experiences? And applying that stuff back and giving examples and giving tangible experience, knowing this stuff inside and out. Not only does it build your confidence, but it builds your credibility because you have testing, working models of these things applied in the marketplace. So how do you get your work to precede you? Is you give other people the courage to do what they do. So like you might not even know who Dean and Tony are, right? Like Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, right? You might have heard of them, but you might not know what Project Next Level is, or Project Next is, or the digital product system, or the knowledge broker blueprint. You might not know those things. But I know those things because that's the lineage that I'm working under. Those are the people that I'm trying to help and improve their messaging so that they teach it better, so that their people don't just go for a 3-day rah-rah weekend. There's actually implementable change and action that comes as a result. So what is the action? What is the courage that is required to take that action, to do those uncomfortable things that your journey requires? So that it's not just about spending the $300 to buy a thing. It's about the application of that thing in a much higher purpose as it goes through the first year of development, the second year of development, the third year of development, so that you have these things that you can talk on, that you can train on over and over and over again, so that they become a schema, a pattern of operation. These are my schemas that I'm delivering in these really quick lessons. But these lessons took me years to develop. You didn't see when I was going through all of this shit trying to figure out, well, if this is going to be the thing I'm going to talk about, if this is going to be the method, all that shit, right? These are the things that allow us to develop those next levels of conversation, those deeper impact communication strategies that we can do as we develop our thing in the marketplace. So this is how you teach these kinds of lessons. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.